Walk into Lowe's right now and you'll see something the big tool companies absolutely hate. December clearance tags that expose exactly how much profit they've been making off your loyalty. I'm talking about professional grade equipment marked down so far that DeWalt and Milwaukee dealers are probably having emergency meetings. These 12 deals aren't just discounts. They're proof that paying full price for tools is basically volunteering to get ripped off. And the best part? Most people walk right past these deals because they think Lowe's only carries the same overpriced stuff as everywhere else. Wrong. Dead wrong. Here's what nobody tells you about December at Lowe's. They're not just clearing inventory, they're making room for 2026 models by practically giving away 2024 and 2025 stock that works exactly the same. The power tools aren't getting slower. The batteries aren't getting weaker. But somehow, you're supposed to believe last year's model is worthless? That's the scam. Meanwhile, smart contractors are loading up their trucks with tools that'll outlast the premium versions for half the cost. Let me show you something that'll make your tool budget go twice as far. Cobalt's 24-volt brushless impact driver is sitting at $89 right now. $89. Milwaukee wants $200 for basically identical specs. Same torque rating, same battery platform, same ability to drive 3-inch screws through doubled up 2x6s without breaking a sweat. The difference? Cobalt doesn't sponsor NASCAR teams or plaster their logo on every construction site in America. They just make tools that work and charge what they're actually worth instead of what marketing departments think you'll pay. Professional framers have been quietly switching to Cobalt for months because losing an $89 impact driver on a job site stings way less than watching $200 disappear into the bed of your truck. The brushless motor design means these things run cooler and last longer than the brushed motors and tools costing twice as much. And here's the kicker. The battery system is compatible with over 75 different Cobalt tools. Once you're in the ecosystem, every new tool is just the bare unit price because you already own the batteries. But speaking of batteries, wait until you hear about the next deal that's basically stealing from Lowe's at this point. Their Cobalt 4 amp-hour battery 2-pack is marked down to $79. $79 for 2 batteries that would cost you $140 at Home Depot for the DeWalt equivalent. These aren't knockoff cells from some factory nobody's heard of either. Cobalt batteries use the same lithium-ion technology as premium brands, built to the same safety standards, delivering the same runtime. The only difference is the color of the plastic housing. Think about what that means for your actual working budget. Every tool you buy bare without a battery costs 30 to 50% less. Then you grab these battery packs during December deals, and suddenly you've got a complete workshop setup for what Milwaukee charges for 3 tools. It's like discovering the generic prescription medication secret. Same active ingredient, completely different price tag because you're not paying for advertising and brand prestige. And here's where Lowe's really shows their hand on value. The Craftsman V20 cordless drill and impact driver combo kit is $129 right now. $129 for both tools, 2 batteries, and a charger. DeWalt wants $300 for their equivalent DCK 240 C2 kit. $300 versus $129 for tools that drive the same screws, drill the same holes, and last just as long on job sites across America. The V20 platform has been around long enough that contractors actually trust it now, which is something you can't say about every budget brand. But wait, there's something even better hiding in the power tool aisle that most people completely miss. Lowe's has the Cobalt 80-volt self-propelled lawnmower marked down to $349. Now I know what you're thinking. That's a lawnmower, not a shop tool. Except it's not really about the mower. It's about getting into the 80-volt battery platform that powers Cobalt's entire outdoor equipment lineup at prices that make gas equipment look financially irresponsible. That same 80-volt battery runs their leaf blower, string trimmer, chainsaw, and snowblower. Once you own the platform, you're saving money on gas, oil changes, spark plugs, and all the maintenance headaches that come with small engines. Professional landscapers are switching because the operating costs over 5 years are literally thousands less, even when the initial purchase price is comparable. And with December pricing, you're getting in cheaper than gas equipment while also avoiding the whole carbon monoxide in your garage situation. Speaking of things that save money long term, Lowe's has their Cobalt 227-piece mechanics tool set for $129. $129 for every socket, wrench, and ratchet you need to work on anything from lawn equipment to full vehicle rebuilds. Snap-on would charge you $129 for for maybe 20 pieces, if their truck was feeling generous that day. The chrome vanadium steel construction means these sockets won't round off bolt heads like cheap stamped tools, and the lifetime warranty means you're basically paying once and never buying sockets again. Professional mechanics who aren't trying to impress anyone keep these cobalt sets in their home garages because losing a 10mm socket hurts way less when replacements cost dollars instead of dozens of dollars. The organization case actually keeps everything sorted too, unlike those cheap plastic trays that crack after 6 months and turn your toolbox into an archaeological dig site every time you need a specific socket. But here's where December deals get really interesting for anyone doing home renovation work. The Cobalt sliding compound miter saw is marked down to $229 from $349. $229 for a 12-inch saw that cuts perfect angles through 4x4s and crown molding with zero drama. DeWalt's equivalent, DWS 779, sits at $379 even on sale. That's $150 difference for saws that both have laser guides, LED work lights, and enough power to slice through pressure-treated lumber without bogging down. The dual bevel design means you can tilt the blade both directions for compound cuts without flipping your workpiece around like you're solving a geometry puzzle. Professional trim carpenters use this exact saw because it delivers accurate cuts, and the price point means they can actually afford backup saws for multiple job sites instead of hauling one saw back and forth and praying it doesn't walk off. And speaking of things contractors actually use, Lowe's has the Cobalt portable table saw at $199. $199 for a saw with a rack and pinion fence system that stays square and doesn't drift mid-cut like budget saws usually do. The 15-amp motor handles sheet goods and hardwoods without that terrifying sound of the blade slowing down when you're halfway through a cut. Ridgid and DeWalt charge $300 to $400 for portable table saws with similar specs, but they sure do come in prettier colors. The folding stand design means you can actually move this thing around without throwing out your back or recruiting 3 friends. Set it up in a driveway for outdoor projects, break it down when you're done, store it in a corner of the garage without dedicating an entire wall to permanent table saw real estate. For anyone doing kitchen remodels or building decks, this saw pays for itself on the first project just in time saved, compared to trying to make accurate rip cuts with a circular saw and a clamped straight edge. Now here's a deal that'll make you question everything about buying premium hand tools. Lowe's has the Cobalt 3-drawer rolling tool chest for $149. $149 for a chest that's actually steel, not particle board, with a vinyl wrap pretending to be metal. Milwaukee and DeWalt charge $300 to $500 for similar sized rolling chests because apparently red or yellow paint costs extra. The ball-bearing drawer slides mean you can load these things with heavy tools and they'll still glide open smoothly instead of jamming halfway like cheaper slides do after 6 months. The locking mechanism actually works too, which matters if you've got curious kids or you're storing tools at a job site where things tend to grow legs and walk away. Professional contractors buy multiple units and stack them because at $149 each, you can build a complete workshop storage system for less than one premium brand single chest. The powder coat finish resists rust and scratches better than the painted surfaces on tools costing twice as much. But speaking of storage and organization, there's another December deal that's solving a problem most people don't realize they have until it's too late. Lowe's has the Cobalt ball-bearing tool chest combo at $249. $249 for a top chest and rolling cabinet together. That's complete workshop storage for what Husky charges for just the bottom cabinet. The combined setup gives you over 40 inches of width and enough drawer space to organize everything from tiny drill bits to full-sized power tools. The gas strut lid support on the top chest means it won't slam down on your fingers when you're digging for that one specific wrench. The bottom cabinet has a wood top work surface that doubles as an assembly area when you need a stable surface at working height. Smart mechanics use the top chest for frequently accessed tools and the bottom cabinet for specialized equipment, creating an efficient workflow that saves time on every single job. And here's where Lowe's really shows they understand what working people actually need. Their Cobalt 127-piece standard and metric tap and die set is $79. $79 for the ability to repair stripped threads or create new threads on custom fabrication projects. Snap-on charges $200+ for comparable sets sets, because apparently teaching people how to fix things instead of replacing them isn't profitable enough. The carbon steel construction with titanium coating means these taps and dies stay sharp through multiple uses instead of dulling after the first aluminum project. Anyone who's ever stripped threads on an expensive piece of equipment knows the panic of thinking you need to replace the whole assembly. This tap and die set means you can repair it in your own garage for the cost of 15 minutes and maybe a couple drops of cutting oil. The organized case keeps everything sorted by size instead of creating that fun game where you try every tap until you find the right one. But here's the deal that might actually change how you think about air compressors forever. Lowe's has the Cobalt 210-liter ultra-quiet air compressor at $499. $499 for a compressor that runs at 60 decibels, which is quieter than normal conversation. California Air Tools charges $700+ for similar quiet compressor technology. The difference? Cobalt isn't marketing to dentists and finish carpenters in enclosed spaces. They're just making compressors that don't destroy your hearing. The 210-liter capacity means this thing can keep up with air tools all day without cycling on constantly like underpowered compressors do. The oil-free pump design eliminates maintenance and means you're not dealing with oil changes or contamination in your airlines. Professional auto body shops are switching to these quiet compressors because working 8 hours next to a screaming 75 decibel compressor is basically choosing gradual hearing loss as a career benefit. The quick recovery time means you can run multiple air tools simultaneously without waiting for pressure to build back up between tasks. Anyone who's tried to paint a car with an undersized compressor knows the frustration of stopping mid-panel to let pressure recover. This Cobalt unit eliminates that problem while also letting you maintain a conversation or listen to music without cranking the volume to compete with compressor noise. Now here's the December deal that proves Lowe's is basically giving away professional capability for hobbyist prices. Their Cobalt portable air compressor pancake style is $99. $99 for 6 gallons and 150 psi that'll run finish nailers, brad nailers, and inflation tools without drama. Porter Cable and DeWalt charge $140 to $180 for equivalent pancake compressors with the same specifications. The compact footprint takes up minimal floor space, and the pancake design stays stable instead of tipping over like vertical tank compressors do when you're moving them around job sites. The regulator and pressure gauges are actually readable instead of those tiny gauges that require reading glasses and good lighting to figure out what pressure you're running. The rubber feet dampen vibration and protect your garage floor from scratches. Professional trim carpenters buy these as backup compressors because at $99 you can leave one at each job site instead of hauling equipment back and forth and risking theft or damage. Smart shoppers are grabbing multiples right now because these December prices won't last past inventory clearance, and having a dedicated compressor for different areas of your workshop or different project types beats constantly adjusting regulators and swapping tools. Think about it like this. Lowe's is basically paying you to stop overpaying for brand names that cost more because of marketing budgets instead of actual quality differences. Every single one of these deals represents money that stays in your pocket instead of funding commercials and sponsorships. Professional contractors know this, which is why their personal workshops are full of Cobalt while their work trucks display whatever brand their clients expect to see. The tools work exactly the same. They just cost what they're actually worth instead of what brand loyalty convinces people to pay. Here's what makes December the absolute best time to grab these deals. Lowe's needs this inventory gone before year end, which means they're pricing tools at margins that would make their accountants cry during any other month. The Cobalt brand doesn't have the marketing overhead of Milwaukee or DeWalt, so they can afford to slash prices without losing money on each unit. You're basically getting wholesale pricing with retail convenience. And here's the real secret that tool truck dealers absolutely hate. These Cobalt tools are manufactured in the same factories that produce premium brands, just without the logo markup. Same quality control standards, same material specifications, same performance testing. The difference is Cobalt isn't charging you an extra $100 per tool to cover celebrity endorsements and racing team sponsorships. They're just making reliable equipment and selling it at honest prices. Smart buyers are walking into Lowe's right now with lists, grabbing multiples of these deals before inventory runs out. Because once December ends, these prices disappear, and you're back to paying retail markups that make absolutely no sense when you know what tools actually cost to manufacture. These 12 deals aren't just saving you money today, they're changing how you think about tool purchases forever.